guys, welcome to another episode of the Dragon's Lair. I'm your host, Wall Street Pete. Today I have a very special couple here, Michael and Courtney Weaver, very special guests, successful entrepreneurs. They've done a lot of different industries. They're now coaching and mentoring people in the insurance broker space, and I thought they would be a great value to bring to you guys out there, taking stuff from their perspective, especially being like a husband and wife couple. Me and my wife, you guys know I always talk about how I always try to bring my wife into certain businesses with me and, make sure she's part of it because, she's been there all along with me. So I like to see that, couples out here are taking these things and helping build each other and reach the next level. So Michael and Courtney, welcome to the show. Tell everybody, get started. Where'd you guys meet?
Pete, thank you so much for having us. So I tell the story in the non-creepiest way possible.
I wasn't a creep. What's going on here?
Okay. So Michael and I have been together for 12 years, and he was in the insurance space. I had my own career in sales, and we actually met at the gym. And it was one of those days. It was the day after Valentine's Day. That's how we met at 5:00 in the morning. We're very much focused on personal growth. And in the non-creepiest way possible, he asked me if this mat was available in this tiny gym. It was me and him and one other person. So there wasn't a ton of people there. That was February of 2011. Sold me on this dream of being an entrepreneur. And I said, absolutely. I'm obsessed with you. Let's build a life. So we got married in February, started our first business together in April of 2014, and went on to start 5 others along the way. If I had to go back, everyone was telling us, they're like, I hope your business makes it. I hope everything survives. I'm like, I want our marriage to make it. So that was a decade ago. So that's how it all got started. I don't want to speak for you, Michael. I don't want to tell the creepy version of you.
No.
He was very polite. He was very kind. He sold me on a big vision. I said, hell yes. Let's do it.
A lot of times in life, it's about presenting the opportunity, presenting a picture. And if everybody's on the same page, let's go accomplish these goals. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool if you ask me. So let me ask you this, Michael. When you met your wife, you guys came right up basically in the beginning and was like, listen, this is what I want to do with my life. I need somebody on the side that's going to kind of help take me to the next level. And you guys just started jumping into companies, or you guys were working jobs? Like, what was going on?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So in the very beginning, and I was very forward in the very beginning, I had terrible boundaries. All right. So that's one thing I've learned throughout time, but I did communicate, I feel like, very well in the very beginning of, you're never going to see me. You're only going to see me on Sundays. And at that time I was working for someone learning the business. And she was working in her sales position. And so we were both working for individuals at that point in time. And the only time I saw her was Sundays. And then we got married, like she said, February of 2014. And throughout that process, we had planned on starting and actually going into business together. So we started an insurance agency from ground zero, scratch, no customers, gave up. We only had $5,000 to our name. So she gave up her job. I gave up my job, started the business together, and has really been together since then in every aspect of every business, everything from insurance to online fitness. She crushed it in that space. She crushed it in direct sales. We started an SEO company together. Then obviously today we now do the coaching and consulting where we've worked with over 10,000 insurance professionals across the country. So Wow. It was selling a huge vision, but man, there's been struggles along the way. I mean, communication's key, keeping our relationship priority, and then learning boundaries as well, as far as understanding, hey, there needs to be a shut off time to be able to focus on personal life as well. Because what's this all about if all you're doing is working nonstop? I mean, you're not going to be happy. Even when you hit the goal, I don't know if you've ever done this, Wall Street Pete, but after you kick the field goal and you make it, well, then you're moving the field goal post. Okay, what's the next big goal we want to hit? And so,
that's my life. Once I hit the million, now where's 5? 5, now where's 10? And it just keeps going with me. And yep. I don't really see myself ever changing because the numbers I plan on hitting are so high. I don't know if I'm going to catch them in this life, but I'm going to keep trying. Which is why I had to kind of bring my wife into my world, in the business world, because again, my story's a little different. I've been with my wife 23 years now. We have 18-year-old twins. And, we grew up, we were together since we were young. I was, again, we were all younger. So everybody was a different person when they were younger. I was more involved in the street life. I was in the drugs and, I was making a lot of money in the drug business. But I didn't come up with a lot of opportunities that, other people had that were able to take advantage. So my situation was a little different, which is, again, my wife was in my corner when I was doing things I shouldn't have been, trying to kind of tell me, hey, what are you doing? Stay away from that. But still understanding that, I'm just who I am. I set a mark, I set a target. I'm getting myself out of poverty by any means. I don't really care what the sacrifice is. So for me, I put numbers in my path that I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit, but I enjoy what I do. So we don't work. We live our life. We go on a business trip. We make a vacation out of it. We set up my office. My kids are graduating next week, high school. So they've already got their companies. They got 800 credit scores. My kids are ready to hit the ground running. And for the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to have them learning our business, learning how to, just different skills that they don't teach you in school. So they're going to become kind of coming in every day with me. I have a lot of different projects that I'm working on, so I try to include my family in it. And I believe that that's the same thing. You got to put some time aside for your family. So what I do is I tell my kids, listen, because the Trump kids are my landlords. So I tell my kids, I say, guys, Don Trump, he didn't raise his kids to be out roaming the streets and doing stupid stuff and hanging with stupid people. He protected them. He guided them. He put them in the right networks and the right groups. And when I grew up, I didn't have that. I had very bad leadership. So for me, I'm able to kind of step in and break that chain that my family line had going. So now I'm giving the kids opportunities that I didn't have, hoping that the outcomes can be much different and they don't have to go through the struggles that I had went through. But again, this is like a big, big thing. You got to love what you're doing, because if you don't love what you're doing, it feels like work. When I come in the office, I come in to motivate. See, now I'm using artificial intelligence. I've got people that are building out bots that do a lot of automation. They reach out to the customer. They talk to the customer. They hold the sales conversation back and forth. They go all the way up to collecting documents. And then I put a live guy on the phone. But up until then, I've built something where I don't need to depend on people anymore. See, up until recently, I've been in this business 5 years, the merchant cash advance industry. And I always have to depend on people making the calls for me, because I'm not making 1,500 calls a day myself. I just don't have that bandwidth. I got too many other things to do to grow and scale my businesses. So I depend on sales guys to jump on the phones. The problem I have over here on Wall Street is these guys, one, say there's 5 million opportunities around the corner. So they're always chasing the next thing that seems like it's going to be overnight success. And they're always like very entitled. So they come in, they're like, you're lucky I'm here. And okay, I'm going to make some calls. I close a deal, 10K commission. All right, my grandmother's sick and I got to go to Miami for a week. This is the kind of stuff I hear. And it's very frustrating for me as an entrepreneur, somebody that came from the bottom, climbed my way out of hell to get to where I am, and you not take this opportunity serious when I'm giving you everything laid out in front of you that I didn't have. I had to make phone calls and I had to deal with customers and write everything on paper and in notebooks and just books and books of follow-ups, and nightmare. With the technology now, these guys have it all at their fingertips. I put everything together for them so they can go hit the ground and take off. And they come in with these attitudes of entitlement. I tell you, it's crazy to me.
Man, so I tell you, we hear the same thing in the cornfield states, baby. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, I actually, though, I love it, Pete, because for me, that is my competitive edge. I'm hungry, I'm humble, and I'm smart. And that's what I look for in people that I'm hiring. That's what I look for in people that I collaborate with and people that we partner with too. So that's okay. If somebody comes in and they're like, hey, I got my 10K commission, I'm off to Miami for a week. I'm like, perfect. I am going to outwork you. I will put my ego to the side. So I think there's two sides to that. I totally understand your frustration because there is.
You know what I tell them?
What?
I say, cool. And then when they come back, their key card doesn't work and I got somebody else in their seat.
Yeah.
I don't play around. You know, I'm vicious. I am vicious. Let me tell you guys, I'm building robots that are taking place of them because of their attitude. I normally like to have 50, 60 guys on my floor. They maybe come in with a good energy. I'd talk to everybody. I'd pump them up. I'd get them on the phones. I'd help them and give them these skills that they can take with them anywhere because I do forced sales. These are not easy sales. You know, I'm calling somebody telling them, hey, I'm going to give you every dollar. You're giving me back 150 and you're going to like it because I'm showing you how to use that money to turn a profit. And these are folks that are like, I want to pay every dollar. I want to pay a nickel. And I want it over 12 to 18 to 24 months in monthly payments. And I'm like, no, you're going to get it for 3 months. It's going to be daily payments, but you're going to use this money and you're going to flip this money and you're going to keep doing it. And I'm a good partner. So I have to kind of show them different avenues for them to be able to utilize this capital to their advantage. Most people aren't geared that way. They're like, oh my God, every dollar costs me 50 cents. I don't want the deal. But hey, if every dollar I give you is going to turn into $3, I think you got off really cheap giving me 50 cents on my dollar. So this is the stuff that we teach these guys. I love bringing like at-risk youths from like Harlem, the Bronx, Newark, all over the boroughs. And because I know what it was like growing up poor and feeling like you don't really have an outlet and you're just like, man, it's either sell drugs or become a movie star or a sports athlete or, you know, because going and getting a regular job just wasn't what we were taught, what we were geared to. And a lot has to do with ego. I tell everybody I got a piss poor drug dealer ego. I made millions of dollars as a drug dealer. I just seen a different shift and changed my life, but it's because I found a way to make more money than I was making in the street. It's very hard to tell somebody that only knows one level of thinking to change that unless you can provide something that can really give them right now money. And that's what the MCA does, which is why I bring all of these kids around. And I tell you, no matter how much I try to help them, they get me to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm building robots. My AI is taking over. I got 6,000 square feet floor. I'm only going to have 10 guys on it instead of 65 because I don't want to see people no more. I want my robots to work because they work all day. They get the job done. They're professional. They don't come with attitudes and they don't come with entitlement issues. I got to tell you, you guys might want to look into that stuff in the insurance business to start, you know, getting rid of these sales reps as far as the opening wise, because that's usually the ones that's the problem anyway. They get discouraged quickly. They bring bad attitudes, bad energy. I didn't close a deal in a week. Okay, but you don't know the script yet. You don't know how to talk to a customer. You don't understand. I know you guys got to go through the same process over there with people. I'm sure you guys.
It's tough.
Say it again.
Yeah, prospecting is always tough. I mean, I think everybody wants to be a closer. Not everyone wants to be a prospector. And it sounds like that's the name of the game you're trying to get rid of is the prospecting game. So your closers can just focus on closing. But no, I love that. And I love how you opened up with me and her working together, because I do believe that anyone that is in business, actually just in life in general, your spouse is the most important decision you'll ever make in your life. I really, really believe that, because they're either going to be supportive of the vision and the goal and you want to go and knock it out together, or they're going to be on the other side of that, which makes it very, business is challenging in itself. Entrepreneurship is challenging. Sales is challenging. And then if you have someone that's not on the same page as you, that's going to make it extremely, extremely tough. And so I think your partner is your number one. It's going to be the number one reason that you're either really successful or not successful.
I tell everybody that I meet, they ask me why I'm with my wife so long, because she believed in me when nobody else did. Because if not, I don't really see value in creating a relationship with people out here long term unless they're bringing equal value or more to the table. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, if you're going to have a wife that's going to constantly nag you, that's going to be out doing stupid stuff, out embarrassing you, out acting how they want to, great. Everybody's entitled to whatever they want to do in life. But if I'm trying to go sit around billionaire CEOs, billionaire shareholders, and I have to deal with that, it's for me, I wouldn't accept it. I wouldn't tolerate it. I'd say I'd rather be by myself.
Well,
So-
you also can't do that. You also can't be the one embarrassing your family or doing stupid shit.
Oh,
Like-
yeah, 100%. When I speak, I maintain a certain standard in life,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
I expect that in return. The problem is I see a lot of people that, they don't really get that. So I understand, but I'm like, man, that's setting you back 20 steps because you're picking the wrong person to be with like that. Because now you got to first acknowledge the problem. Then you got to try to fix the problem. And then when you can't fix the problem, you got to get away from the problem. You're talking so much time is passing. Life is going on. Everybody else, your competition is already moving past you, and you're still stuck dealing with some stuff outside of what you were supposed to be focused on. So yeah, picking the right partner, I mean, it's life or death, honestly.
It is.
These are the people who are going to be teaching your kids, whether the male or the female, they're going to be teaching your kids. And, you want to make sure that you bring your kids I know I want to make sure that I bring my kids into the best possible situation, because I know how coming into this world just thrown is very difficult. And it just something I don't wish on anything that I bring into the life, So for me, I tell you, my wife can attest to this. She has her own funding company. She has her own brokerage. As I've done these levels, she does these levels. I build this. I say, babe, here, open up one of these. My wife grabs it. She's very smart, college educated. She grabs it. She understands it. And then she starts implementing it herself. And every time I do something, I'm okay, babe, here, do that. I don't do like partnerships. Like, okay, we own this company. I'm doing this already. Here, you do the same thing as me. So when we're having conversations, our conversations are about the same thing and in line with what I'm doing on my goals, because that's the only way that I can give enough time. I spend a lot of time in my office. I mean, literally, I'm in the office till 10, 11 o'clock at night. My kids are graduating next week, high school. So now they get to spend a lot more time with me. I've been away. I've been in prison almost a decade of their life. And it definitely runs a toll. So when I have these opportunities, I'm like, yeah, guys, when you're in your 20s, you're going to appreciate the fact that, yeah, I wasn't there all the time, but I was there in the background putting everything together. So when you hit the ground, you don't hit a brick wall like I did, because, I would much rather my father said, here, you're a millionaire. Both you guys, you're 18 now. Welcome to the real world. It's not easy. That doesn't really happen much. So me, I always kind of, when I was growing up, I would follow like the rich kids that I would be around, because I sold drugs. So I was around a lot of kids with money. They would just, always have unlimited money to get high. And that was always where the party was at. So I used to see how they set their kids up with trusts, and they get their kids in the companies. They train their kids as they're going older. The kids aren't going to like baseball practice. Instead, they're going to their dad's office and they're learning bookkeeping. And I didn't really understand it when I was younger, but as I got older, I was like, man, that's what they were doing back then. This is why they were doing it. They were prepping them to take over the company when they hit a certain age. And I said, man, I got to follow this, this path. So listen, guys, I don't want this to be about me. I sometimes tend to get on talking. Tell us about life and business with being an entrepreneur out here.
Yeah. So kind of to what you were saying, and you've talked about this a lot, is what we really wanted to focus on is building a life first and then building businesses that supported that life. So we don't have children yet. That's something that is in the future, hopefully for us. So every business that we have made has kind of rubbed up against that. Is this in support of our life and our mission and our very big, scary goals? When you talk about goals, talking about goals that start with a B and not an M, like the billionaire.
100%.
And that requires a different version of living. It requires a different version of how you think. It requires a different version of how you communicate and who you surround yourself with. So I think as entrepreneurs, especially as married entrepreneurs, and you spoke to this a lot too, Pete, is really having communication and building your own thing, but working towards that shared mission. So you and your wife are still working towards, okay, we're raising successful, capable kids, and we have big money goals, and that's what we're working towards. And we're very similar in that. I don't know. Our life has been kind of a journey. We exited a few of our businesses. We bought an RV last year, and spent 3 months working from the road because we really were focused on, how do we build businesses, but still enjoy our life in the process and not burn ourselves out? Because I always look at business, and I know, Michael, you're the same way, as there is no end game. There is no end. Like, the goal is to stay in the game, play as much as you can, play as big as you can, but not burn yourself out to where you don't want to play anymore. So that's been a big part of our journey, is setting businesses up that we can do from anywhere in the world. And that was kind of our big test.
Yeah. I mean, everyone always says, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, what the hell are we making the cake for in the first place if we can't eat it? I don't listen to those folks. Hell no.
I don't listen to them. I ignore them, actually. Yeah. When I hear you thinking like that, I stop listening.
Yeah. It's how do I do that? Who do I need in my circle? What does that look like? It's not, you can't. Like, it's always thinking about that. Yeah, we don't do well can't.
We're very focused on I can and I will. Right. How will I? I'm not sure yet, but I will. Yeah. I know what's going to happen. And again, guys, you have a tremendous advantage because you don't have children that dedicate a whole lot of time and energy that you need to spend, especially being young. So you guys have, you got your work cut ahead of you, because when you do have the kids, at least you'll be set financially, which is amazing. And you can have a much more easier transition. Our kids, we had them when we were young. We had twins, and, I literally went away 2 weeks after they were born. I lost my trial. So it was definitely a difficult time. Plus my wife's pregnancy. I mean, again, I say everything happens for a reason in life. I've managed to get myself where I'm like, okay, now the kids are grown. They understand. When I come pick them up in a G-Wagon at school, the kids are like, wow, Dad, the kids all call us G-Wagon kids, or oh my God, Escalades with chauffeurs and, Maseratis and whatever. All through the years, I'm the dad that comes in, and all the kids like, oh, wow, look at your dad. Who's your dad? What's he do? So when their friends are telling them, hey, try these drugs or try this vaping, my kids are like, my dad told me we're not doing that. I don't care. You're not going to tell me that that's right when my father's telling me it's wrong. So you got to make sure, parental advice, you got to make sure that your kids look at you like you're the cool guy. Because if not, they're going to both follow what the cool guy says. And a lot of times them cool kids will get the kids sent down the wrong path. So I've brought my kids up to Rock Nation. They've worn the Rock Nation chains. I had little Uzi Vert going on FaceTime with them. He's my partner.
I love that.
Yeah, my partner Gordo is kind of like his advisor. So he's like, Pete, I'm gonna put your kids on a FaceTime with him. We went to Ed Sheeran concert last night. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, the singer, but I tell you, it was an experience unlike any other. I didn't really know who he was until I heard the songs, and I was like, oh, that's him. He's been around a long time, got some good songs, but we were in the MetLife Stadium, and oh man, he turned it out. 90,000 people packed in, jam-packed stadium on a Sunday night. I mean, it was something else.
I heard he is an incredible performer live too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm not really big on that stuff. I don't know what sports teams are playing deliberately. I deliberately do not acknowledge sports or entertainment because it takes my focus away. Yeah. I cannot be getting aggravated because the Yankees lost. I'm sorry. I can't do that to myself. So I'm detached from that stuff. But when I went last night, because my kids were like, Dad, I want to go. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. We'll go. 90,000 people. You're not going by yourself. We're getting 2 extra tickets. Don't worry. You guys are going to pull up looking real sharp. So we went in. We had a good time. And I was just like, wow, man, this was really nice experience. He had the fireworks going. He had a couple of good people coming in performing. And he was doing, I tell you, Ed Sheeran himself, I don't know about other concerts, but Ed Sheeran probably did like 30 songs. I kept thinking it was over after 10, and then they kept switching his guitar. And then they closed it, and everybody, half the stadium left. And then he opened it right back up again and started with the fireworks. And it was like to half a stadium. And it was the best part of the show. It was another 10 songs. So I was like, we didn't get out of there till 11 o'clock last night. So I was like, these guys, they really know how to put a show on. I was really impressed last night with that one.
But I'm so glad that you bring that up, because that's one of the big reasons why we do what we do, is to be able to have experiences like that with people that we love. Like, to be able to go and say, this is what we're doing on a Sunday night. This is how we're going to do it. Because that changes a lot too. I mean, it's one thing to go to a concert. It's another thing to actually go to a concert and have a different experience. And that's at least for us, so the big reason why we continue to work our asses off is so we can have experiences like that.
We just went, I did a shareholders meeting, board of advisors meeting, I'm sorry. And we went over to St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
And then we went to St. John's, and we were having a great time. I mean, I just wake up one day and I'm like, all right, we're going to go pick a place on the map. We have a meeting. Let me go find something I can do there. I have customers all over the place, anywhere okay, we went to LA because I had to go. I called my client, hey, I need to come see you. Let me see if I can help you grow your business. And I'll go make a whole business trip out of it. And I get to show my family different experiences. They get to see different locations, different places. I'm just not big on flying around in the jets. I don't really like the plane so much. So
you need an RV like us.
I don't like the road even more.
So how are you traveling? By water?
No, I get on the planes. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I'm not scared of them. I'm just not a big fan of, going through the airport, dealing with all of the headaches, getting the radiation when I got to go through the scanners every time.
Yeah.
And then sitting on them planes, and it's just like, I don't know.
I know.
You got to get to that you got to get to that PJ life, bro. Well, that's our goal, man.
My friends they fly on them all the time. They always try to bring me on them, and I'm just like, guys, I'll come soon. When I go on any flights, I take my wife and my kids. If I'm going up in the air, we're all going together.
Yeah.
I haven't flown myself yet. I don't just fly around. I tell you something cool, though. I just got my passport. I've never had it because there's been problems, paroles, probations, this, that. So I never really was able to travel outside of, the United States. So we just got our passports all together, and we're about to go start flying out.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Congrats, man.
Oh my gosh. That's
we're just going to,
We love to travel. We travel internationally a lot.
Yeah, we actually just got back from a trip. We were in Italy and Greece for almost a month.
Oh, that's where we're planning on going. So
oh my gosh.
One of my clients is a big real estate developer, and he does these huge projects like golf courses and resorts all over the world. And he has a project in Dubai right now, one in Portugal, and one in Croatia, and one somewhere else over there in Europe. And he's like, Pete, thank you so much for helping. You got me out of a bind. I'm going to get you and your family a full week at the resort. It's like the top resort right there on the water where all of the boats come right after they leave Monaco. They go down to that area. It's, I don't know the name of it, but it's really nice from what I'm hearing. So he was like, yeah, you're going to start there. So we're going to do what I was thinking. We're going to land in France. My wife always wanted to go to Paris. I promised I'd take her there. So we'll go take some pictures over there, and then we're going to go down to Portugal, spend a few days over there, and then take a train across Europe to Italy. Then we're going to go to Greece, and then Greece, I want to go up to like Amsterdam area, Netherlands, and then I want to go up to Finland or Iceland to go catch the Northern Lights. So that's like our whole trip that's coming this year. As soon as they tell me the Northern Lights are in the sky, we're doing a big roundabout in Europe.
I am so excited for you. That's going to be incredible. You're going to love it.
Yeah, I tell you, when I leave, I go on I'll go to Miami, and then from Miami, I'll go to New Orleans, and then I'll come back. I never go like one place back and forth. I go one to the next to the next. I went to Vegas, jumped in the truck, drove across the desert, went to LA. LA, we went down to San Diego, Laguna. Couple days here, couple days there. I start getting bored, and I want to switch it up. And when I'm actually traveling, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get as much accomplished as I can, because I'm always stuck over here in the office.
But,
man. That's where some
guys.
of our best ideas have came from that. Like, most of our businesses were born on an airplane because we were able to get away from all of the noise and the day to day of doing all of those things. And we were really able to kind of take a step back and go, what do we want to create? What problem do we want to solve? Who do we want to serve? So I love that you're traveling. You're probably going to come up with 7 million business ideas being in all of those places. I can't wait to hear all
guys,
about them.
Forget it. I have a TV show coming where it's called Off the Street, and we go outside on my office on Wall Street, right from the stock exchange is right outside. So we go right outside to the stock exchange, and I have a young kid, and he goes up to people and asks them if they want to change their life. And he brings them upstairs. They film the whole thing. Brings them upstairs. The guy comes in or a girl comes in for an interview with me. I decide if I like them, and I'm going to give them an opportunity on my sales floor. And then the camera catches them as they're going through their journey. So yeah, we're starting to do the filming right now for it. We did some pilots.
Heck yeah.
I got a book coming. It's just so much stuff that I'm like, listen, I don't even make money off of that stuff. That stuff doesn't bring money. My money comes from business owners saying, Pete, I need $100K right now because I got X, Y, and Z problem, and I get the $100K in their account, and I make my 50, and that's it. Everything else I do to kind of like help the community, help these kids, give them opportunity, show them that everything isn't like as bad as it seems, because it does seem bad when you don't know any better. You can have the whole world at your fingertips on the computer, but if you don't know how to ask it questions, if you don't know how to get the right information from it, technology is nothing more than just, looking at pictures and, liking people's posts and things like that.
Yeah.
There's, with you guys in insurance, I'm sure you guys can use, you're using technology as far as CRMs, as far as marketing techniques, SMS blasts, email campaigns, things of that nature. I mean, everybody that uses technology gets so much further ahead of those that don't. And I tell you, I hate when people say, I don't know, I can't learn. I didn't know how to turn a computer on when I was 30 years old, but it's because I just never tried. Once I tried to turn the computer on, it wasn't that hard. Then once I tried to start searching the internet, it wasn't that hard. It just seems very overwhelming for a lot of people that are just, new to it, and they get a little, the mental block, and it kind of makes them just say, I don't want to. So again, this is something that I try to help a lot of the older generations, because I understand, believe me. I lived in a prison. It's like living in the Stone Ages. I call it modern day slavery because that's what it is. And it's just, again, like you go from that. When I went away, there was no iPhone. When I came home, the iPhone was out. So it was like a complete change for me. Was like, wow, everything is right here. I used to sit in my cell and just wish that I had a way to communicate back and forth with the real world, because there were so many things that I wanted to do, because now I had time to be focused. I was like, okay, I can't make millions selling drugs and not have repercussions with this stuff. So when I get back, I need to find a different way, a different avenue. And I would come up with so many different things. But again, being in those environments, you're only getting advice from certain types of individuals. Now, I don't want to say stupid people, because I was with some billionaires in prison and very successful people that just made bad choices, or somebody made one for them and they didn't know. Like I was with a guy, he was $30 million. They made a mistake. They were doing like ATM machines in New York somewhere, and they made a mistake with the counting of the money. So they lost money that was their investors that had the money that was going into the ATM machines. It was an honest mistake, and he repaid it, and he still got 12 years. And it was just like, man, but so you do get around some decent people. It's just, everything is limited. So once I came home and found my friend, Mr. Google, I was like, whoa. I taught myself everything I know based on just learning the stuff myself, researching it, checking it out. And I'm really not the most tech guy. So right now I'm trying to learn AI and how to write code. I hire people to do it, but I still like to know what I'm talking about when I'm in the room with people. If I'm going to get involved with real estate, I learn about real estate. If I'm getting involved in MCA, I learn about MCA. If I'm involved in insurance, I learn about insurance. I don't need to know it like the back of my hand. I need to know enough that the people I hire to deal with that are not lying to me or trying to pull a fast one on. So I like to kind of hands-on approach, learn everything I can, you know.
Absolutely.
So tell my guys, what are some of the struggles you guys came across when you were first starting out with business? Like, what kind of adversity did you guys have to overcome? And what did you do to solve that problem?
You know, I think first I want to say that I love adversity because it challenges you. It forces you to grow. It sucks in the moment. But I think the only way you actually learn something is by continually failing over and over again and getting back up. I always like that Mike Tyson quote that everyone has a plan until you get hit in the face. And that is really what it felt like, you know, and it still feels like that a lot, being a beginner and learning something new. You talked about that, about going to Google and are you willing to learn? So I think in the very beginning, probably the first thing that we had to overcome was what are we doing? Like, how do we start a business? How do we run a business? How do we hire? And then how do we fire? And that's probably, I'll let you share more on that.
Yeah, I would say one of our first big struggles was actually firing someone. Because we looked at them. I mean, they were part of the team for 6 months. So we knew that we were their paycheck. I mean, we were putting food on their table and it was tough, even though they weren't hitting their goals. They were showing up late. They weren't hitting expectations. They were a cancer to the team. I had never fired anyone before. She had never fired anyone before. And so that was one of our biggest struggles, but also biggest lessons learned, because by keeping them on the team multiple months after we should have, not only cost us money, cost us loss of revenue, but it also caused someone else quitting because they didn't like that person. They didn't feel that person was pulling their weight. And so always go with your gut instinct. When you feel like you need to cut someone, you cut them. It's kind of like the old saying, like, you hire slow, you fire fast. And I agree with that 100%. That was something that we've had to learn multiple times.
You guys heard it here. You hire slow, you fire fast. I'm going to tell you, I have the same kind of outlook because mine is more commission based. So I don't pay salaries. People got to get up and come in. So I let them come in a little late. I give them a flexible schedule and hoping that they'll get that one deal that makes them $100,000 commission and is going to change their life. But what usually happens is they get discouraged. I'm not getting any leads to call me back. Well, did you follow up with these folks? Nah, because I was calling my new leads. Okay, well, so you didn't follow up with anybody. Do you understand what you're telling them and what they're telling you? Not really. I'm just reading the script. Okay. And did you read the script for like 15 hours a day on the phone, or did you read the script for like 4 or 5? Oh, I come in for 2 hours. I go downstairs. I smoke a joint. I come back up. I grab some lunch. I go back down. I come back up. And it's like, so you don't see a problem in your work ethic. And I always tell everybody on my floor, hey guys, I could care less if there's one of y'all or 100 of y'all. I'm still making my money at my desk in the computer. I'm in the matrix over here, making my money. I have my book of business built. I made my 15, 18 hours worth of phone calls and just never stopped until I caught my customer a year later, because I knew that this industry I was in was a piñata for me to hit. I know opportunity when I see it. So if you don't see it, that's cool. No problem. But I'm not going to give you any favorites. I'm not going to give you extra help because you're not really taking it serious if you ask me. But you can make calls because you might catch that deal and it might change your mind later. So I'm always kind of like trying to give people that extra push. I tell you, over the past 90 days, that's completely changed with me. After I've learned how to build these bots and bring this AI into my life, tell you, ChatGPT is my employee of the year forever. And now I tell people like, hey guys, I used to like to come in and have you guys, motivate you guys and say, hey, I'm helping change people. But I'm at a point now where it's like you guys are draining my energy, and I'm not seeing positive. I'm seeing negative because they're not taking it serious. So I bring 100 people in. Out of 105 take it serious. The other 95 are just, flipping and flopping. And out of that 95, half of them quit. And then the rest of them complain. They stay and they complain. So I was just like, guys, I'm going to be kind of, looking for like 20 stone cold closers that I can keep around. And that's my floor is going to be built off of. I don't need a whole floor of openers anymore. Unfortunately, the window's closed. My AI is off running circles around you guys. You can't compete. I don't even pay him commission. I mean, so I pay one person to manage it. So again, for me, it's like, I'd like to try to help people out, but I'm starting to see as I'm getting older that, some people are just, I like to tell people you can't turn a giraffe into a shark. Mm-hmm. You just can't. They're just meant to be what they're meant to be out here. And I used to again, the first couple of years I was in this business, I would be screaming at everybody, are you crazy? I made $100,000 commissions in 10 minutes. What are you doing? Come with me. And all my friends would laugh. And they'd be like, Pete, you're crazy. You're bugging. You're lucky. You hit the lottery. And I'm like, okay, I hit the lottery because I'm on the phone at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday when the guy picks up the phone and says he needs some money. Same thing with you guys with insurance. You get as lucky as the phone calls you make. If you ain't making calls, then how you expecting customers to pop up on the other end of the phone? So, right. Guys, what book would you recommend up and coming entrepreneurs to read to kind of give them just a little bit of a vision of what to expect?
I think my favorite book of all time, and this is not just for entrepreneurs, but the most lethal weapon that you'll ever have is your mindset. And that is what you will grow to, like the ability that you think, how much money you think you can make, what kind of person you think you are, what you're capable of. So I love Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. He also wrote Think and Grow Rich.
I tell everybody when they ask me that question, Think and Grow Rich is one of my favorite books. I read it in prison. It was a short read, but it changed my mindset completely. I write my own ticket. What I believe I can achieve. And it was like, man, he's onto something here.
Yeah, man. So if you like that book, because we definitely recommend that book to everybody, Outwitting the Devil. It's amazing.
Outwitting the Devil. I'm going to check on that one and I'm going to read it. How many pages is it? Is it like a big book or like a short
It's
read?
about the same size.
Yeah, it's about Think and Grow Rich. And it still applies. And it's perfect too, because you're a dad with teens that are getting ready to graduate. It talks a lot about how you should educate children versus what's actually happening in the world. And this book was written in the 30s, but what we need to empower kids with.
It's very good.
It's really good. It's a lot about mindset.
Awesome. So guys, do you guys have a podcast?
We do.
Tell everybody about your podcast.
Yeah, so we have a podcast. It comes out on Mondays and Thursdays. It's called The Insurance Buzz, and it's all about training in the insurance space. It's about entrepreneurship, business ownership, and sales techniques in this space today, in the modern world. So that's what we're doing.
Nice. So everybody, you guys heard it here first. Michael and Corey Weaver. We've had an amazing show with you guys. I mean, I wish I could keep it going longer, but they're going to kill me with editing. But guys, I tell you, we had such an amazing time. I mean, look, my guys are out here looking for value. I'm always trying to bring entrepreneurs on and show people that, hey, you can do this. Coming on as a couple, it's really good because a lot of people can show this to their wives and say, hey, babe, or to their husbands and say, hey, babe, listen, let's do something together. Let's go conquer this world. It doesn't have to be you against the world and I'm home watching the kids. It can be us. I can stay home and watch the kids, but I can help you from the back end. And this is this is really good. I really like that energy. I think it's really amazing. And congratulations on all your success, guys.
Thanks,
Pete. We appreciate it, man.
So guys, we're wrapping up this episode. I'll see you all on the next one. Again, your guy Wall Street Pete here, checking out. Catch us on the next one.